Hello and welcome to I Will Say This Though. I'm Jimmy,
And I am Danny.
and we are two cis men. And today's episode, we are going
Special
to be
episode for the
a
ladies.
special episode for the ladies. We are going to be ranking the monologues in
The Vagina Monologues.
in Eve Ensler's iconic play, The Vagina Monologues.
Now we're only doing, because there's more, we will not be ranking all the monologues. As you may see from here, there's not that many of them. We're doing all the ones that are in the HBO special.
Yeah, just because it's like, they add like new monologues to it like every year.
Yep.
So like it made sense to have like a central.
Maybe next year
Point.
we'll do another edition of this where we'll rank another set of monologues. We'll see.
Yeah, or maybe we'll never do this again.
Maybe
This might not
this
be,
is a terrible mistake.
Maybe this
and we
is a
shouldn't
terrible
be doing
mistake.
this right now.
Yeah.
Also, content warning for viewers. One of these a lot of these monologues will be discussing some fairly heavy subjects, including sexual assault and violence. Also, one of these monologues makes prominent use of a euphemism for the vagina that some people consider very offensive.
Right.
That euphemism rhymes with hunt.
Yeah, Polly Pocket. Oh wait, what?
I will not be anywhere near so coy about it coming up because that word is going to be said a lot, and just be warned. And in fact, the monologue is about trying to destigmatize this word and why we should not be afraid to say it.
Moving on. So let's just jump right into it. These are our.
Just jump right
these
in.
Are,
you can't
these
jump
are,
right in, Jimmy. You have to have some build up.
Yeah.
We're going to try to be as non-crass with this as possible.
We are, because once again, we are two cis men. We've never had vaginas in our lives. This is so to take all or any opinions we share. Just take it with like the biggest grain of salt you can.
An entire salt shaker.
An entire salt shaker.
All right, so
our tiers are at the top.
Clitter S tier.
Clitter S tier.
Labia. Beaver.
Just like
because
a
it's
grade
B rank.
Yeah, it's just
it's
okay.
the only. I guess it and S are the only alphabetic ones.
Yeah.
Vagina, and forget it, Jake. It's Vagina Town.
Yes. So. Yeah. Oh god, the last one actually makes so much sense considering some of the ones we're going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so let's start at the beginning. Best place to start with the intro.
Unfortunately, not all the words could fit in the thumbnails here.
Yeah, but
So
intro. Yes. So intro. If you don't remember, intro is like the one at the beginning where she's just sort of introducing the concept of the play, how she talked to all these people,
Yeah.
and then the main part about the intro, if you don't recall, because Danny's seen, I've seen it. Okay,
I've seen stage versions of it a few times, but they were different from the HBO version.
And I've seen this every year for 4 years for my 4 years of undergrad. It's a long story. I saw it in my first year of undergrad, and then my second year, my friends like took me to it. So since I saw it the first 2 years of my undergrad, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna make this a tradition.
You like those? You do a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah, and just like see it, just for the sake of seeing it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so intro. The main thing about the intro is that she lists a bunch of names for vaginas. Like she's like, oh yeah, I traveled the country, and we all have all these different terms for it.
Many of them I had never heard before.
Yeah,
and have not heard since.
What would you say is your favorite one?
Can you refresh my memory on a few choice ones?
Okay. Let me just pull it up. My favorite is Polly Pocket. I think that's
Polly Pocket's a very good one.
Yeah, like it's not in the play, but that is generally my favorite name for vagina. My wife hates it though. But anyways,
Polly Pocket.
So vagina monologues.
Does that make
Pookie.
penises a Mighty Max?
That's funny. Pookie, Pussycat in New Jersey, apparently they call it a twat, which is interesting because I thought it was a British thing.
Yeah, in the UK I believe they pronounce it twat usually, but
Powderbox, Poochie, Poopy, Pee-pee.
I do not want to call a vagina a poopy.
Yeah, that seems like a confusing.
You don't want to.
Punani, a toady, Didi, Nishi, a dignity, a monkey
Head Game
box.
is Fire, Punani Dasani.
Coochie, Snorcher, Cooter, Labby, Gladys Siegelman.
Gladys Siegelman.
Yeah, that is the funny
That's
one.
so specific.
Yeah. But anyways...
I've always had a place in my heart for Cooter.
Cooter, yeah, is a good one.
Rye Cooter.
So,
he's great.
So, I think just because it's the intro, I think we should put in Beaver.
I would put it in labia,
Labia,
personally.
okay.
Because it's the intro. It sets up the story. It does, or the stories. It does what it needs to do, but it also has this whole hurricane of euphemisms, which are funny.
Sure, okay.
So,
Yeah, and normally, well, depending on the context, we usually have like one person to like be the overriding vote when we do
neither
this.
of us really has...
Neither of us have
seniority.
like more vagina knowledge than the other, so it doesn't really matter. But Danny has the cursor, so whatever. Or we could take turns.
I mean, if you are insistent on bumping it down to beaver, we certainly
No, we
can.
can. Let's just do labia. But
Okay.
it's just because like I just think it makes
For
sense.
now, and we
Yeah.
may... Once we've... The first one you're always ranking, like, how generous should I be? Because you haven't established a frame of reference yet.
That's true, exactly. So the second one that we're talking about is called hair.
Give me a head with hair.
Yes.
Long, beautiful hair.
Oh, before we move on to hair, I just want to say something else about intro.
Yes.
There's this. I'm now looking at the notes that we took, which maybe I should be backtracking. But do you think vagina is a sexy word? And we're moving the microphone, so if you hear weird audio things, that's why.
Yeah, it should be about equidistant between us, actually. I think it actually can be very, very sexy.
But like because what
Because
it
it's so
means.
proper. There's something very sexy about propriety in like a sexy librarian kind of way.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I understand what you mean. It just, I think it's kind of like,
It's like a British accent.
in my opinion, I feel like because what we call a vagina, a lot of the times we actually mean vulva.
Yes.
And that actually is a monologue that's like later added that we aren't going to be talking about because I think this is added after the HBO special. But I think vulva is a sexier word than vagina. You know what I mean? And I kind of wish that
if I agree with
vulva
that.
caught on rather than vagina.
Vulva.
Because
I don't
vulva
know.
is like the
It's
outside.
a car. I'm gonna
Right?
go get for a ride in my Volvo. I don't know. The I sound is what makes it for me.
The I sound? Okay.
Vagina.
By the way, if I'm wrong about the vulva, whatever, just tell me in the comments, please. Okay. Anyways,
Your wife is looking at us through the French doors, and she looks horrified and upset.
she subscribes. She can comment.
She doesn't watch these videos.
Anyways, I mean, he's watching this one now. Okay. Second one, hair. So hair. To recap, hair is told from the perspective of a woman whose husband does not like that she has hair around her vagina.
Yeah, which is, I think, on its own, if it's that big of a problem for him, that is already a red flag.
Yeah.
That he is that insistent on her appearing
Like here's the thing.
childlike.
Yeah, because like you can have preferences, but like if it gets to the point where you're going to therapy and like you and your therapist, because this is what happens in a monologue where he and the therapist kind of collude.
The therapist completely takes his side.
Yeah,
It is
which-
such bullshit.
And
I am mad on behalf of the woman who made the monologue.
like the woman who, yeah,
Told Eve Ensler this story, and Eve Ensler turned it into part of the play.
Yeah, and it could be an exaggeration of real events or whatever, but like,
I completely buy that this happened.
like I don't like the part that I don't is because like I've been to therapy and that the way the therapist acts in this monologue seems like completely like foreign to like what a therapist, you know what I mean? Because
Certainly not what they should do.
she's
yeah.
like gasping at his story of, oh, she won't shave her vagina, and then the therapist gasps. Like that's like putting so much judgment on.
Refresh
your
my
patient.
memory. By this point, has he already cheated on her?
Yes, I think they're sex rate, like,
which
this
is
why-
clearly way worse.
Yeah, like, this is
than
why-
having some pubes around the place.
Yeah, so it's like. Anyways, yeah. So the guy sucks.
Yeah, and the therapist also sucks. And she shaves. The therapist convinces her that like you're gonna have to make some compromises and shave your vagina, but he doesn't have to make any compromises at all. And she does, and it's really itchy, and he still cheats on her. So I think it's a good monologue, just in terms of like the righteous indignation that it carries.
Yeah,
Like-
I like the line. It's there for a reason. The hair is the leaf around the flower.
Yes.
The lawn around the house. I enjoy that.
It's good imagery.
But see, the thing is, that's the sort of thing I would put into labia. You know what I mean? At least for now, unless you think it belongs in clitoris there. It's just because it's the second one. I don't know if we want to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I am fine with putting it there. So
Okay, let's just put it there for now. But
For now.
honestly, I really like this
We
one.
might bump it down. We might bump it up.
Yeah, I think we might.
I think it's a good one. It's
Yeah.
a very good one. She's
So
right to be angry.
yes. Okay. So the next one is called The Flood.
I love this one, and
It
I
is.
think this one should be S tier personally.
Yeah, me too.
But let's unpack it a little bit for the audience who may not have heard it, or may have heard it and just may need maybe their memory is not so fresh.
Yeah. So The Flood is from the perspective of an elderly woman who is recounting a time when she. By the way, I love how it starts with the line. Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. By the way, listen, I would also fuck Eisenhower. I like Ike
We've
in that
discussed
way.
this previously.
Ike,
Also,
amazing president.
I believe this is in the HBO version, and it certainly was when I've seen this monologue done live, is you always have to do it with this very, New York or maybe New Jersey little old lady, I was an extra on Seinfeld one time kind of accent. It is so charming. And this old lady sounds like the coolest fucking person.
It is. So she's telling a story about she had a boyfriend or whatever. She was like a really good looking guy called Andy Leftkov. By the way, here's my problem. This is a pet peeve of mine with any TV shows and movies and stuff. Why is it whenever someone's reminiscing about a crush they had in high school or whatever, they always remember the person's full name? That's really strange because I can't remember the people I knew in high school. I barely remember their first names, let alone their full names.
If the people I remember, the girls I had crushes on in high school, I still remember first and last name because often you didn't actually know them that well, so you were never really on first name basis with them. But also, you've known so many people since then. I'm sure she has known so many Andys that she has to specify in her memory, Andy Leftkov. Because,
Yeah, but it's
not that Andy, not that Andy.
It's gotten to a point where it's every time someone talks about, oh, in high school, I knew, John Ruben knew or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always I
don't know. I feel like that's how I remember people by full name also.
Yeah. But anyways, okay. So she's with Andy Leftkov in a
His
car,
fancy new car,
and then
his fancy upholstered seats.
Yeah, and he kisses her, and then immediately she starts flooding down there.
Gets so aroused that it just
yeah, and it stains the upholstery on his car.
And instead of taking this as a sign that yes, let's proceed, he's like, oh no, my upholstery, I'm mad.
Yeah, and then she
gets this really terrible shame complex around her vagoo.
Yeah, and she never looks at it, never touches it again.
And she occasionally has, I don't remember, has she already had the wet dreams about Burt Reynolds?
No, I think afterwards it's
all right. Yes, because she's older, and when she's a teenager, Burt Reynolds isn't even famous yet because it's 1953.
So it's Eisenhower and Burt Reynolds in the same monologue. This is literally the sexiest monologue ever.
Oh my god, yes.
The guy who won World War II.
And the guy who solved the oil shortage of the 70s by driving a bunch of rotten beer from Alabama to Texarkana.
Yeah.
Or was it the other way around?
Anyways, I really like the perspective that she says and shows in this one. But before we rank it, I just want to say the ending of it is, you happy you made an old lady talk about her down there? You feel better now? So clearly, Eve Ensler, she might have been a bit uncomfortable with Eve Ensler, interviewing her. But then it ends with, actually, you're the first person I ever told about this, and I feel a bit better. But also,
yeah,
could that have been added on by Eve Ensler?
Oh, quite possibly. By the way, I was good.
By the way, no, she was actually fine with it.
I don't know, maybe.
But anyways, I don't know. We don't know.
Burt Reynolds never did a thing for me, but for some reason in my dreams it was always Burt.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I don't know. So we don't know
it's really
how real this is. But regardless of that, it's a great monologue. Let's put this in Clitter S tier. The Flood. Clitter S tier.
The Flood.
Yes. Okay.
I think with all of these, I'm sure she revised a few things to make it fit better as monologues here and there. Mm-hmm. But I think we should kind of assume that they're all more or less true, and that any changes she made, just for the sake of argument, for the sake of this list, that any changes were made in good faith.
Yeah, I think that's true. So the next one's called Because He Liked to Look at It.
I kind of like this one.
Before
It's odd.
So it starts with so throughout the special, this isn't in the stage version, but throughout the special, there's like the stagehand called Steve and Eve Ensler who's doing the performance. By the way, Steve is the most like fucking like late 90s
He looks
looking
like Joey
guy.
Fatone. He's got like the blonde spiky hair.
He's got the like I think they're like are they called like a frosted
tips.
He's got the frosted tips. Yeah, he has this like I'm sure he's not a douche, but he looks kind of douchey. You know, like by today's specials, like if someone's dressed like that in 2023, you'd assume they were like a huge douche. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I'm sure he's not.
It was very fashionable at the time, and it's a fashion that has not aged very well.
And then like she like parades him out there and like, hey, this is a good example of a man who's like, you know, respectful of women and vaginas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like the most like non-threatening.
And I feel like a lot of this stuff, because we see a lot more of him in the first half of it, and I have a theory that because like a lot of, I think just because of the format of the Vagina monologues, because it's called that, I think a lot of men who were watching it were kind of worried that like, oh no, this isn't going to be anti-man, is it? Because we can't imagine something being pro-woman without being anti-man, because we're a bunch of fucking children. And I feel like a lot of the stuff with Steve is there kind of to reassure the men watching it that like, don't worry, that we are aware that hashtag not all men. There's plenty of good dudes out there. We're not gonna be anti-man.
That's true.
And this monologue is about a positive experience with a man.
That's like the first
a weird
line.
Experience, but a positive one.
This is also pretty late 90s, but let's talk about it. So they start off by saying this is not the speaker in this monologue is a woman. She's like, oh, this is like a non-PC thing that happened to me. And then you listen to it like, oh, I kind of see why. So
I honestly don't know what she means by non. I don't even know what political correctness means.
No, because
anymore.
it's like this. The story's about her being kind of like ashamed of her vagina or something.
Yeah.
And then she meets a man, and the man is like, and she takes the man home, and the man's like, I need to look at your vagina.
Yeah,
you know?
it's his thing. And he looks at it for like 10 solid minutes before doing anything.
But also, like, he's very, like, forceful about it. I think that's kind of why she's like...
Okay,
maybe. Not, because she's like, no, I don't want to... And he's like, no, I need to see your vagina. It is you. It is who you are. And it's like, wow, Bob is kind of creep there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know... But,
I guess.
I mean, like, you know, it has a happy ending.
It's presented as a very positive learning experience for her. But yeah, in hindsight, knowing, you know, just with the wisdom of decades, it does feel a bit like, this guy's kind of weird.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know.
It's benign.
Yeah, there's also a line, like at some point, I think we wrote something that kind of sounds like he's, like, in a cult or something. Like, he's just, like... staring at her vagina like it's some sort of like religious like
he's almost literally worshiping it.
Yeah, but then that helps her realize my vagina.
She feels beautiful the way he's looking at her.
There's a great line in there where she's like, that has nothing to do with Bob. There's a great line in there where she's like, oh, you know, I bet if the media said that fat thighs were sexy, we'd all be trying to get fat. And it's like, we're in 2023
That's exactly what happened.
It's exactly what happened. But I really like that. But I don't know, the Bob parts, it's like, it creeped me out. And when I saw it done by like, you know, I saw it be done by like college kids and stuff. They always like, you could see that they were kind of aware of this. So like they had Bob be played by like a mop for like sometimes like she's just holding a mop and like, this is Bob. This is what Bob, you know, just kind of like and I think that's like, I like the sort of decentering that monologue on Bob, because generally speaking, I don't know, this every time I hear this monologue it creeps me out, other than that one time when they made Bob a mop. Yeah,
Bob is a prop for the story, and the less we think about him, the more benevolent the story seems.
The less we imagine him as an actual person going, I need to see your vagina.
I'm giving him a Peter Lorre voice. I want to see your vagina.
That's what he sounds like. Can we?
I would love to see a monologue where the voice she does for Bob is just
Yeah.
like the creepiest and worst.
I would put this in Vagina, honestly. I feel like just because there are only 10 of them, and I think like if
Yeah,
anything's gonna go
okay.
there, I feel because it makes me uncomfortable, and I
I
think not in a
may
good
argue
way.
later that we should bump it up to Beaver, but we'll see.
Yeah, because like I can't really. Okay, I don't really know. Because remember these are all relative to each other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even though the tiered names are like so like negative, yeah, it's not actually
Yeah,
like saying.
don't take this as a condemnation.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is reclaiming cunt.
Yep, there we go. I warned you. I warned you.
You know, I actually don't like this one at all.
I'm sure that the version of it I saw, I was live, was greatly expanded on the version that's in the HBO special, and she went into like the etymology of the word and its links to the word country. And there was also a bit where she was singing the word over and over again to the tune of "We Will Rock You," as like cunt, 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 and got the whole audience like cheering and singing along, and that was really fun. But the version in the HBO special, she's just kind of saying it over and over again and making noises and drawing out,
Yeah, because
making whale song.
like I feel like this is one of those monologues
doesn't
where
work as well.
it really gives freedom to the performer to literally do whatever they want. So I think if you
Yes.
see like the version you saw, it's definitely like I'm assuming it was literally like the person doing it that had that made all these.
I
Like,
don't know.
because like I'm looking at
I
the
don't-
text, I don't see
Okay, maybe this was something that they invented for that production.
maybe because I feel like this is a pretty fluid
Yeah.
production. But I
And doing stuff like that, getting the audience to sing along,
Yeah.
obviously wouldn't work on screen anyway. And like
Yeah.
she has a studio audience, but they're basically just there laughing at the jokes, right?
but also like has it been successful in reclaiming cunt?
It honestly it changed the way I think about the word.
Okay.
Seeing the longer version I saw,
Yeah.
not the version in the HBO special, which is what we're rating. But before that, I had kind of felt like, oh, I shouldn't say that word. And then, having a woman encourage a whole audience of people to shout it at the top of our lungs
But-
kind of made me feel like, oh, okay.
Here's my thing
This
though.
isn't so bad.
Like the reason why this monologue works, or at least would ever work, is because cunt is a taboo word. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you were to actually successfully reclaim cunt, this monologue would
Lose all power.
Would lose all power. Like because like no one, if cunt was just a regular word, like hammer,
like the
and people were just
song,
shouting hammer or chair.
Like Bitch by Meredith Brooks. It's like,
Yeah.
at the time, like, oh, she said bitch right there in the name of the song. She said that she would, and now we're just like, oh, I'm 100% that bitch. And it's just like a Facebook status
Yeah,
now.
it's
It's a joke.
not-
It's become cute.
So I think that reclaiming cunt is in itself like
The more powerful it is, the
suicidal.
less powerful it
yeah,
is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like its power
Yeah.
comes from the
Which
because,
makes
like,
it very hard to rank.
Yeah, because the thing is like a lot of kids are like, oh, why can't I say this word? It's just the word. But it's like if we did accept it as like a normal word, like bad words in general, then they will lose all power. We need words that are considered bad so that we can swear when we hit our toe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we don't have these words.
And we're always coming up with new ones as some swear words gradually do lose their power through use and new ones arise.
Yeah. Can we put this one in Vagina and move he like to look at it up to Beaver?
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like we
The version,
The version
in
we
the
saw
HBO
was-
special at least is kind of basic.
Yeah.
And, like she's saying cunt a lot. Okay.
yeah, and I feel like we have more agreement on this one than we did with he like to look at it. So I think.
I think you're right. Okay.
Okay, so the next one is the little coochie snorcher that could. Okay,
Don't like this one.
this one. Okay,
I like
think.
I like how it starts. It starts kind of funny because Coochie Snorcher is a funny word.
Yeah, this is a story about a girl who, a girl,
Yeah, a girl.
a 16-year-old.
The story ends with her at 16, but
Who,
before that, there's the bit when she's 11.
So I think at some point she lands on a bedpost and her Coochie Snorcher. Was this in the HBO one? Or
Yes,
did
it
they cut
was.
Okay. She lands on a bedpost.
Wounds her bits falling on a bedpost,
Yeah.
and needs to get stitches and stuff, which is
And then later she gets like raped by
it's one of her dad's
her
friends.
dad's friends, rapes her, and then she becomes a teenager,
And she's
then
like very much, dealing with all the stress and horror of that, and
then she
very withdrawn, and like, okay, this
then-
is a decent monologue so far.
and then an adult woman like has a relationship with her, and this is like a good
Portrayed
thing.
as like a beautiful coming of age moment. Like there's good pedophilia and bad pedophilia.
Yeah,
Is
But-
kind of what feels like the takeaway of this, and I want to be clear, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's
like
any
I
good
think there was like
pedophilia.
an original. There was originally a line in this monologue.
Yes.
That was like, oh, if referring to what the older adult woman did to her, that was like, if it was a rape, it was a good rape. And it's like, no.
Yeah,
Let's get
they
that.
were right to cut that, but I think they should have cut the entire thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's put this in. Because also, like, even if she was like 18 or something by the time of that, even if,
if
they
she was
rewrote it.
18, I wouldn't really
But
have
what
a problem
would
with
be
this.
the point? What would I like? So she has a bad experience with a bedpost.
Bad experience with a man, and then good experience with a woman.
I mean, I get maybe
If
but,
it were just a story about like finding out you're gay, that'd be fine. But
what is this about?
I don't
What is
know.
this
It kind of
monologue
feels learning to love yourself through the magic of
about? Of
statutory rape. I don't fucking
yeah. Let's forget
I
it.
don't
Jake,
like
it's
this one.
Vagina-town.
Yeah,
Because like Chinatown, which is like Chinatown, which is what the
and
line's
Roman
from.
Polanski in real life.
Yeah, this is a rapey one.
Yep. I think Roman Polanski thinks that John Huston was the hero of that movie.
Yeah, I've watched exactly 2 Roman Polanski movies in my life, and both of them end with the rapist getting away with it.
Is the other one Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
Yep.
Spoilers for Rosemary's Baby.
Spoilers, it turns out that the baby's dad is the devil.
Yeah. The next one is My Vagina Was My Village.
Oh, this is the one about
I think the Bosnian
yeah,
war.
and like the rape camps that were going on in it's
the
the dissolution of the former Yugoslavia.
But it's funny because like
This is a powerful one.
it's power. I don't like the way it was presented though, because she's like, oh, I can't believe that, like, in 1990, whatever, in the middle of Europe,
Yeah,
there
that-
was these atrocities
line,
are happening.
that
It's
one
like,
line.
oh, so you're saying
If
that
it happened in Asia, it'd be fine.
yeah, if happening in Asia, if happened in Africa, it'd be expected. But no, in Europe, wow, what
Yeah.
a shocking.
That one line is definitely a problem.
Yeah, you do get like, because Evenzer is, you do get like white feminist kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
the
Like
90s.
Especially in the little Coochie Snorcher that could, where it's like, oh yeah, the woman that like that I had a relationship with was like a high powered businesswoman.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
She had a nice apartment.
girl boss.
Yeah.
who girl bosses can like
It's okay
groom
when
children
they-
too. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So my vagina was my, but no, the actual monologues.
The rest of it is good. And I remember, again, this is the production I saw in university. I guess there was another, I don't remember if this was part of the same monologue, or I think it was another one that came right after it that was about the rape of Nanking and like the comfort women, the Chinese comfort women being used as sex slaves by Japanese soldiers during World War II, which I thought was also very powerful and, kind of had that intersectional lens that is missing in particular from that one line, and is like also interested in the experiences of women of color, which unfortunately the HBO version, and part of this is just the fact that all of them are just delivered by Eve Ensler, who is herself white, and there's no way around that, but it ends up feeling very, as you say, white feminist, and this line in particular really crystallizes that problem.
Yeah, like every time I see vagina monologues, the best ones were when like women of color did like some of these, because like especially the ones that are very like, anyways. But anyway, so this happens, and then they talk about like, oh, and then they shoved something up there and
Yeah, it's
stuff
not.
like that.
It's the language of this one is a lot less conversational.
Yeah, it's very
It's very poetic and very a lot of metaphor, a lot of imagery.
yeah.
In spite of that one line, I do think this is a
Yeah.
very good one. I won't say I like it because it's horrifying, but it is good.
It's the odd one out. It's like out of all of these, this one's like the one that really sticks out as like I don't know, maybe clitoresque there. I don't know if I put like it's definitely. I feel like
Okay.
it's the one with the most to say.
It's
on
the
it.
one that definitely gets into like the biggest, like full on atrocities, and not just my ex husband cheated on me and that was shitty.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like I feel because it feels weird to put it
I don't want to minimize.
I don't
but
wanna
obviously
put
there's
it-
different.
next to the one where she's like, oh, my,
Burt Reynolds.
I mean, it is the next one,
It is right
but
next
that's just
to the
because the
Burt
Burt Reynolds one is so fucking
That
good.
one's so good.
that it gets. Okay, so speaking of white feminism, the next one is My Angry Vagina. Now, I just want to say,
I'll be honest, I don't remember this one as well.
so this is the one where, so let me set the stage for you. Vagina is my village. Afterwards, it goes into like the clips of all these women saying, oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
raped this, I was raped here. And then immediately goes, my vagina is angry.
Yes.
Because of tampons.
This one is less of a story and feels more like stand-up.
Yeah, it's like
which unfortunately is following the absolute
Yeah.
heaviest moment in the whole special.
Yeah.
Which is a tough act to follow at the best of times, but
But like
it's not the
I
best of-
understand why though. I understand you need like a breath,
Yeah,
after
you do.
something. You need like a comedic relief kind of after
In
like
Macbeth has the shocking, horrifying murder scene, and then a funny monologue about whiskey dick to cheer everyone up.
yeah, but it's just I don't know. It's strange in context because
It is.
It's right after this one about like women talking about like I was raped and stuff like that, and right afterwards it's like someone going off like my vagina is angry about the most like first world like privileged like oh when I go to the healthcare when I go to a gynecologist that I have access to
Yeah,
the stirrups are not made of
uncomfortable.
velvet. Like
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's just kind of like was this like a a misfire kind of like,
And yeah, it does. It's not just because obviously there are. I don't want to diminish the complaints of women dealing with, going to the gynecologist and all the hassle that I'm sure tampons and the like are. But she does come across as kind of spoiled. Like I
Yeah.
want to be able to relax in velvet. I should be able to
And
have ice cream all day.
My vagina wants diamonds, even
Yeah.
though we just did one about like war crimes
yeah,
and stuff.
I don't have any
I
diamonds.
don't. I don't
either,
have
like-
any ethical problems with diamonds.
Excellent point.
But also, it's like I don't know. It's like maybe like by itself, it would be like if this is like the first or third one, the second or third one, it'd be fine. But like just come like right after this,
Yeah.
it feels kind of like whiplash. You know what I mean?
If the joke were, I am spoiled and these are my first world problems, but the way it's placed, it feels like that's not the joke. That's an unintended feature of it.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to put this in the vagina category.
Yeah.
Because it's not awful.
It's not like I think if it was just like anywhere else other than right after,
Maybe.
unless.
So we'll put it here, but with an asterisk that this may simply be the result of bad timing.
Yeah, but we can't really pretend we saw it in a different context. And I do want to say that in the stage because HBO cut a lot of stuff, but in the stage version, right after, so we have the one about the Bosnian Civil War and war rape. Then we have My Angry Vagina about someone complaining, oh, tampons should be lubricated, and I want velvet robes when I go to the gynecologist. And right after this, it's about like female circumcision in Africa. So it really, I don't know. It feels like it's intentional. It feels like Eve Ensor's like
Maybe.
puts us in intentionally to make us think about like,
But if so, that's not there in the special.
yeah.
At least it isn't as well
I
communicated.
don't know.
in
Every
the
time it's
special.
just the weirdest placed monologue. It's like, anyways. Okay. After this, oh, and she uses the term Nazi steel at some point. Like, oh yes, the tools
Yeah.
the gynecologists use are Nazi steel. Right after
One
the
about
one about like
fucking
war
Milosevic
and
and-
European like.
Yeah.
I don't
Again,
know.
first world problems.
I do like the line where she's like, oh, douching is bad, which is
It
is
is.
true. It's like the vagina shouldn't be fresh, and the line is like, if I order fish, I want to be able to taste the fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I
like
like
that.
that. That's a good bit.
I do like that line.
I'm inclined to bump it up to beaver then, maybe?
I do like it more than reclaiming cunt. Like there's more
All right.
substance to it. Obviously,
There is.
maybe yeah. Also, it does have what was I? I will say there was the best version I saw was when it was done by a Southeast Asian woman with an accent. It sounds so much better when it's not a white person doing the. You know what I mean?
Believe that 100%.
When it's like it's I don't know. It's just
Unless you want her to sound as spoiled as possible, which could also be a way of doing it.
yeah.
But either way.
And once again, we are two cis men, but so if we're completely wrong, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Okay.
Let us know respectfully, because we're doing our best.
The next one is the woman who loved to make vaginas happy.
I think this is a decent one.
Yeah, it's like
It's kind of light.
it's kind of the same problem I have with reclaiming cunt though, where it's like it really depends on what version you see.
That's true.
There's so much free. So
because there's a lot of it is just vamping on the same basic premise.
So the premise is it's from the perspective of a sex worker, like a woman who like dominates other women.
And she used to have like a white collar respectable
lawyer
job. She was a lawyer,
yeah.
and she found it boring and decided she would rather instead devote her time to being a lesbian dominatrix.
Yeah.
Which is,
I mean, we don't know if she's a
valid.
lesbian, but like her clients are women, but who knows?
She could be bi. I don't know.
But most of the play is just her demonstrating the types of moans that she hears on her job, and so
I feel like that works better live.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're foreshadowing here, they're in the room with the actress making the moans, and if it's a college production, like she might be someone you know, so it's funny and embarrassing.
Yeah, also because that way it's like more people can also. It's the same with the reclaiming cunt, where like someone in person in front of on a stage to a group of people making weird noises is like cool. Kind of. It takes like bravery. You know what I mean?
So much. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, it takes like you're impressed by this person's dedication to their craft to do something potentially better.
Fake a loud orgasm on stage in front
whereas
of everyone.
seeing it on a screen, it's kind of like, especially because I watched this with Danny on this.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like.
Well, she sure is making noises.
This is kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's great on stage.
Yeah, but I will say this though. On stage, the versions I saw, sometimes it gets a bit racist. Because
you told me about this.
Because she goes like, "Oh, this is like the rich woman's moan." Or something. This is the I don't know
There's like a Southern Belle moan.
Southern Belle, and then it goes into the Jewish moan, the African American moan, and I've seen this done by like white performers, which is like once again. Maybe not.
And the Eve Ensler one on HBO,
Doesn't,
to her credit,
yeah.
she limits it to social class and some regional accents.
Yeah, which I think is
valid.
Better.
You can make jokes with like Midwestern people sound like this, and no one's gonna, that's not hurtful comedy.
Yeah.
That's just haha. Some accents are funny.
Also, if you do it on stage, people probably aren't going to record it. But if you do it on TV, people have that clip forever, and they can like use it against you.
True.
But yeah, so I think the takeaway here is like, get women of color to do this. But yeah, where would you put it?
And we're ranking it as it is in the HBO special.
Yeah.
Not as live. So unfortunately, I still think like I like the message about following your joy, and the part that is the long list of types of moaning on screen doesn't work quite as well, but the part before that, when she's just telling her story, I think is actually quite compelling.
But would you put it above Reclaiming Cunt or next to?
Maybe no.
Okay.
I think it goes here.
It's like the same vibe as Reclaiming Cunt. I think it makes sense for them.
Yeah, it's a lot of vamping on a common theme.
Yeah, I kind of wish we didn't.
It's crowd work, and if you're not part of the crowd because you're watching it on screen.
I kind of wish we didn't do Vagina. Like, it sounds too aggressive because it's not like we actively like hate. Like, we like I think we both kind of hate the last one, Little Coochie, Snorcher.
Yeah, I think it's actually bad.
I don't think we're like being that negative towards these two.
No, they're ones that can work great on stage, but just don't really work here in this context.
And
We thought about calling one of these tier rankings Not So Fresh, but then I remembered
That's-
they already make that joke in the special,
yeah. Also, it seems kind of I don't know, kind of defeats the
and
purpose
I
of.
made it earlier
Yeah.
a few minutes ago.
Okay. So the last one, this one I actually haven't heard before on stage. I think this was written specifically for the HBO special, and I think that they only did it because they had complaints because she wrote the play, it was published, and then there were complaints that you talk a lot about vaginas, you never talk about childbirth.
Yeah, which is kind of something you probably
Yeah, like you talk
should
about
address at some point.
rape and sex and getting wet and hair, but not about childbirth. So I think Evans even says that. I think she says, okay, well then I guess I have to write one. So she wrote about her.
And this is her own experience,
yeah.
not that of one of the women she's interviewed.
I forget. No, it's well, she didn't give birth. It was like
It's her daughter's
daughter's
in law.
in-law. I don't under. I don't. I
But
can't.
but she's the one who was there in the
Yeah.
room when her. It's about the birth of her
So
grandchild.
maybe that's why she just hasn't. She didn't put it originally because she just never had that experience. But like if we so I'm just gonna reread here because I haven't seen this on stage. I don't have it in my head as much as the other. They're all there. She was in when she was there when her vagina opened. Her mother, her husband, and I, the nurse from the Ukraine. Not the Ukraine, it's from Ukraine, but this is the late 90s or whatever.
Yeah, they were still saying the then.
So there were
People
contractions.
weren't really aware of the implications of the.
So then the daughter just starts. She was there when her vagina opened. Birth of her granddaughter. Oh, so she's talking about her daughter's vagina. I'm just
It's
realizing
her,
right
her
now.
daughter-in-law.
Still, either
who
way,
was married to her
kind
son.
of weird.
It is a little weird, yeah. But
So she was there when her daughter-in-law's vagina changed from a shy sexual hole into an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside waiting
Now,
to
I'm
be
going
rescued.
to guess that she had a conversation with her daughter-in-law and her son and said, like, hey, is it okay if I talk about your bits in front of people on stage? And I'm sure they signed off on this. I really hope so.
Yeah, it'd be weird if it wasn't. The colors of her vagina change. Bruised, broken blue, blistering tomato red, gray pink. Okay, childbirth is beautiful.
I
I'm
never
assuming-
watched the video in high school. I never had to watch, what's it called, The Miracle of Life?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I'm sure if you want to give birth, that's fine. But yeah, I can't. I can't really. Dan, where would you put this one?
I like this monologue. I think it's sweet. Mm-hmm. I think it's like, it is a bit weird. I think it works as the end of the special also to be ending on this note of new life and stuff. And
I do like that this one actually portrays like OBGYNs as like a good
yes, not sinister
sinister Nazis like
Jeremy Irons and his identical twin brother Jeremy Irons. This one, I think it's very sweet, and I'm inclined to put it in Labie, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Because it's nice. It's,
Yeah.
it's childbirth, and like, I think it is a bit strange to be, if I had a daughter-in-law and I were literally watching her give birth, I'd feel weird about that. But I guess it's just different for men looking at vaginas than for women looking at vaginas for obvious reasons. And it's an experience that I can't really relate to in terms of like watching childbirth and being like, oh, it's beautiful. But I think, her experience feels very like valid, and I can get what she's drawing out of it.
Yeah.
It's nice, and it's, I don't know, cozy. It's pleasant.
No, yeah, I get it.
There's a baby. There's a baby at the end. It's cute.
And well, I mean, at the end there's like a naked baby, and there's a close up of the baby's vagina, which
Yes,
I think,
there is.
I don't know. It was like a jump scare for me. I was like, oh God, I don't like babies, or I don't want to see baby's vagina. But anyways.
I could have done without that, to be honest. But
but
don't
it's not
let Roman Polanski watch this movie.
It's just a baby that happens to be naked. Just to be clear, it's not like sexualized.
Nothing's
or
weird
anything.
about it.
It's just a baby that happened. Anyways,
And they come that way. Like it's not the filmmaker's fault.
yeah. But anyway, so that's the HBO special. I'm kind of disappointed upon discovering that because I saw, like I said, I saw the stage version, and in the 2010s, and they added one about like the trans experience and stuff, which
you gotta do.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna make
gotta
one
talk
that
about
associates like vaginas with like femininity that much. It's like, it's obvious that like they added that, after the HBO one was made, and kind of wish that, we had access to a version of it that had
That would be cool if HBO did like. Maybe every year they do like a new edition of it with like a set of here's a bunch more monologues that weren't in the previous, because there's so many of them. You could do like, I don't know, 4 or 5 specials worth.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool if they'd make like a yearly thing of it.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, like the same way that my university did.
Yeah. So
to raise money for like V-Day. By the way, okay, so I don't know if we can do this, and if we're not, we'll cut it out. But like, maybe we'll like put like some sort of link to some charity in the
we should. That'd be great.
This, to fight like domestic violence and help women's shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. So so if any of the 10 people viewing this want to donate, 2 of them being us.
Yeah, that'd be a really really swell thing of you to do, viewer.
Yeah. But okay, so Danny's laptop is almost out of battery, so let's quickly talk. So the top clitoris here is The Flood, because it's hilarious old lady. Vagina Village, not hilarious at all.
Very powerful and disturbing. In all the ways it's supposed to be.
Yep. Labia intro, let's put intro there. Yeah, I think
the intro is charming and it's funny. It also has kind of vamping on the theme of just like, here's a lot of euphemisms, but they're really funny.
Yeah, and you learn stuff.
Maybe it's because it's at the beginning, so this style feels a little bit more fresh, so to speak, and hasn't quite worn out its welcome as much as it will later on. But it's just give us lots of euphemisms; it'll be great.
Hair has some good storytelling in there.
It's a very
really gets your sympathies going.
Yeah,
it's
a good one to start the special with as well, because it is admittedly first world problems, I guess, but they're still problems.
Yeah, they're still like real problems.
I mean, her husband cheated on her, and there's all these fucking beauty ridiculous standards and expectations.
I sympathize with that more.
It's fucked up.
I was there in the room.
It's sweet. It's nice.
Childbirth is.
There's
sweet.
a baby.
Yeah. He liked to look at it. It was in Beaver because I don't know. I find the guy creepy and
he's a weirdo.
Not really. This isn't as endearing as I think it is. I honestly.
Yeah.
I think you kind of have to like find a way to make it charming if you're putting a production of it. My Angry Vagina, same thing. You kind of have to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Such as by having a lady with a heavy Indian accent do all the things, because
I feel like I had said earlier that you could lean the other way and try to make her more spoiled, but the more I think about that, the more that kind of risks turning her into a caricature, which could end up being kind of misogynistic in its own way. Honestly, and that's not what you want.
Reclaiming cunt and the women who like to make vaginas happy, both are kind of like a lot of like funny noises, which works like in
better on stage
than as an HBO special. And finally, Forget It, Jake, it's Vagina Town, a little Coochie Snorcher that could,
which is straight up problematic.
Hey, rape is good if it's a woman doing it,
if she's hot.
Okay, yeah, so that's our vagina monologue ranking. Maybe we'll do one later with more of the monologues, but
maybe.
Who knows?
I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've learned something. I know I have.
Yes, we are all in a world of Andy Lefkovs. Let's be a Steve.
Who's Steve again?
The Frosted Tips guy. Not so much the fashion sense, but
or be Burt Reynolds.
Okay, so that's a good note to end on. Okay, thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.